Here at Chat Sports, we take a lot of pride in our NBA coverage, and NBA season is about to get really hot, so make sure you subscribe because we're going to start ramping up our NBA coverage here. Hit that subscribe button so that you stay in the know with all things happening across the National Basketball Association. Another Woj bomb coming through on Christmas Day from Adrian Wojnarowski, and it all had to do with James Harden and his future. Does he want to go back to the Houston Rockets and lead the Philadelphia 76ers after his player option runs out following the culmination of the 2022-23 campaign? That's what we're talking about on today's show. No matter where you are, how you're tuned in, greatly appreciate all of your support of us here at Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. and hope you all had a great holiday as well. So, is Harden going to return to H-Town? Really interesting stuff from Adrian Wojnarowski on a couple of fronts, especially the timing of it on Christmas Day, considering how well the Philadelphia 76ers have been playing over the last couple of weeks after Harden came back from his injury and Joel Embiid right now is cooking. This was the report from Woj. All-star guard James Harden seriously considering a return to the Houston Rockets in free agency this upcoming July. So he's already looking ahead from Christmas Day until July if he decides against a new deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. And this was weird timing for a couple of reasons. It comes on Christmas Day. You're already looking ahead to 2023 NBA free agency in July, and the Philadelphia 76ers are one of the hottest teams in the NBA, especially after their comeback win against the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden, in which James Harden, a criminal outfit as he got to the game, but he did play very well, so if he wants to rock something like that and it works out, he was cooking on the basketball floor. Do what you got to do as a fashion icon. And James Harden this year leading the NBA in assists per game, and get this, minutes per game as well. Now, he has evolved and turned into more of a pass-first point guard. Still able to put the biscuit in the basket, as evidenced by his game at MSG. 22 points per game nearly so far this year. 6.5 rebounds. An NBA league-leading 11.1 assists. The field goal number is not great. 43% from the deck, 37% from three-point range. A lot of that because he was cooking from downtown against the Knicks and also over the last couple of games, 37%. Obviously, you'll take that anytime. And there's a lot of field goal volume there, which is why some of those field goal splits are down a little bit. But look, James Harden is proving that he can still play. I give him credit for evolving his game. He is not the go-to scorer that he was with the Houston Rockets, but he's always had a great basketball IQ, a great feel for the game, and his vision, some of the best that we've seen ever in the history of the NBA. Now, he's still good. Is he an all-NBA player? Well, maybe now with Philadelphia, he doesn't need to be. And with the young core with the Houston Rockets, he doesn't have to be if he decides to depart Philadelphia and go back to Houston, where he won that MVP and made it to a Western Conference final. His stats with Houston: he was one of the best offensive players in the history of the game, and the stretch over 621 games was really sensational. He really broke out after that trade from the Oklahoma City Thunder and turned into one of the more unique offensive players that we've ever witnessed. And the numbers really staggering. 30 points per game, 6 rebounds, nearly 8 dimes, 44% from the floor. So I talked about those field goal numbers a little bit earlier. He's never been the most efficient player, but when it comes to putting the biscuit in the basket, my goodness, is this guy just extremely special. And this year, for Philadelphia, he's been special. And the Sixers have won that Ben Simmons trade. Now, as for that Woj report, myself and producer Coop, we were texting yesterday on Christmas right after it, and we're like, why does this come out right now? I guess Woj was trying to drive traffic to ESPN and get some clicks and retweets. That's today's NBA Media Society. But he said this: despite forcing his way out of the Rockets in January, in 2021, Harden has maintained something of a magnetic pull to Houston. Drawn to the community, lifestyle, and family there, his jersey also being up in the rafters, by the way, after what would become a relatively brief stop in Brooklyn as well as Philadelphia, a move back to a rebuilding Rockets franchise would effectively represent comfort and familiarity over an immediate championship pursuit. Now, the one thing missing from the mantle for James Harden is an NBA championship. And while I like that young core for Houston, led by Jalen Green, as well as Jabari Smith, don't you want that championship, James Harden? And isn't your best opportunity potentially to get it with Philadelphia? That two-man game with Joel Embiid has really been working well over the last couple of weeks since both of them came back from their respective injuries, but I can see why a return to Houston, the familiarity there, being a franchise icon, the best player in the history of that franchise outside of Hakeem Olajuwon, would be appealing to him, especially when you look at some of the young players here on the roster. Jalen Green, my comp for him coming out of the G League, it was Bradley Beal. He does have that scoring upside. Jabari Smith was my number one overall player in the 2022 NBA draft class, and if you look at his numbers over the last couple of weeks, he's been awesome shooting the basketball, but also defending. Kevin Porter Jr. signed that deal, so it looks as though he's going to be in H-Town for a little while. Jayshawn Tate, good player, and then Alperen Şengün, I think is one of the more underrated young centers in the league, has that old school game, which doesn't always work in today's NBA, but I think that he is no doubt a player. And adding Harden to that core could certainly make Houston a formidable team. So is that desirable for James Harden there? He looks at the opportunity to leave Philadelphia, go to Houston, where he turned into one of the more unique and best offensive players of all time, to go back to a place where he has familiarity, but also he can return them back to being a competitive basketball team for the first time since he left. More from Woj here. For all of Harden's history and connection with Sixers president of basketball ops Daryl Morey, CEO Tad Brown, his working relationship with Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers resembles something closer to a work in progress. The Sixers gave up significant assets to acquire Harden, and he's expected to remain a priority to re-sign on a new deal for a second consecutive summer. And he took that discount to come back to Philadelphia, to allow the Sixers to bring back the former Rockets in Daniel House. Most notably, though, and P.J. Tucker. And Embiid is playing at such a high level right now. Do the Sixers want to mess that up with the two-man game that's currently operating and run the risk of losing James Harden? This might come down to Harden, him wanting to get paid a little bit more. And I thought that going into this year, the pressure was on him to play quality, high-level basketball. I had some concerns about the shape that he was in last year, but he's played really well this year. And I, again, give him credit for the evolution that we've seen in the game of James Harden. As for Embiid, again, if Harden wants to chase a championship, there are few players in the NBA who are at the peak of their powers, who he can team up with to really give him an opportunity to get his first Larry O.B. Embiid, I think, has been the MVP this year outside of Jason Tatum. 33 points per game, 10 rebounds. For a center to shoot 53% from the floor and to have his three-point numbers as good as they are, really just crazy. And his passing ability does continue to improve. And this is still one of the best duos in the NBA. You go back and watch the tape against the New York Knicks, the two-man game. I know I've said that phrase a little bit, but the two-man game, the pick and roll. How do you stop it if Harden's knocking down the three? Joel Embiid can crash to the cup on the pick and roll. He can stay outside, knock down the three, and then it also opens up the spacing across the floor for Philadelphia. Over the course of a 7-game series, if both are healthy, if both are engaged, and they get some of those complementary pieces to really chip in and play good basketball, Sixers, look out. They can win the Eastern Conference. It's, I think, the Celtics and the Bucks atop everybody, but the Sixers can certainly enter that mix. So what do you think? Let's hear from you here in the comment section. NBA now, 76ers now. Should the Sixers re-sign James Harden? Y for yes, N for no. Want you to let us know down below in the comment section. Plenty to get to here on the show. First, though, NBA Now, 76ers Now is presented by Rocket Money. Keep track of your expenses, save money, and cancel unnecessary subscriptions with Rocket Money today. Are you wasting money on subscriptions? Well, get this. About 80% of people have subscriptions they forget about. Maybe for you, it's an unused Amazon Prime account, Hulu account that never gets streamed. There's this great app that I use, and it helps me track all of my expenses. And because of it, I no longer waste money on subscriptions I don't even use. You might have heard of it. Rocket Money, formerly known as Truebill. It's an app that shows you all of your subscriptions in one place and then cancels for you whatever you don't still want. Rocket Money can even find subscriptions you didn't know you were paying for. You may even find out you've been double charged for a sub, and to cancel it, All you have to do is hit that cancel button. And as you can see, a user-friendly app where you can see all of your finances. You link your bank account to it. It finds subscriptions that you didn't know you were subscribed to. RocketMoney.com/NBA now. Make sure you plug in that link for that free download so that they know that Chat Sports sent you. As for what Harden did on Christmas, it was a dub. And like I said, the outfit heading into the game at MSG, it was a crime in my opinion, but James Harden balled out. 29 points, 13 assists after the other night in which he dropped 21 dimes, 4 steals in 43 minutes in Philly's comeback win over the Knicks in which they were down big early. And here's the outfit that I was talking about. Like, I can understand the zip-up sweater jacket, whatever that was, but the mask that he was wearing looks like something that my 95-year-old grandma may have knitted. And then the roses intertwined on the Louis bag, and then the slippers here. Now, the roses intertwined on the Louis bag, like that's a flex, right? I mean, how many people can get a Louis V bag and then get these fake colorful roses to match the outfit here? Not many people out there. That's a flex for sure, but the outfit could have found something a little bit better, the beard. But you played the way that you did, so I won't say anything further. James Harden did respond to that report from Woj after the game, and I thought this was hilarious, right? Why would you ask me about that on Christmas, man? You didn't say Merry Christmas or nothing. Kind of said in a joking manner. You asked me about something I'm not answering. I didn't see nothing. I'm here. We are playing very well. I don't know where the report came from, but I'm a very excited person to be here. We are playing well, and we're continuing to get better. Well, James, where did Woj get the report? Woj probably got the report from either you, your camp, or your agency. Your people probably put that out there on Christmas for it to pick up traction. I won't believe anything else. This goes back to the weird timing thing. Like, James, you have to have a better sense of awareness. And this is what confuses me about him. Like, prior to the game, he's like, if I can't be with my family, I'd rather be with y'all if I can't be with my family. Like, that's great. Leadership stuff. But it's kind of delusional for your camp to send this to Woj because where else is he getting this for this report to come out on Christmas Day? There is always drama around James Harden, and it's become a little bit fatiguing and a little bit annoying. Like, I just don't understand how you can't have just better awareness about what day it is. You understand you're going up against the Knicks on national television, and maybe you leaked it so that everybody was talking about it. Got to be a little bit better. Got to be a little bit better. So who leaked the Harden story to Woj? Was it the Sixers? I mean, Daryl Morey, I guess, could have done it. Or O for other, a.k.a. the Beard. Let us know. Appreciate all of you for watching. Make sure you subscribe because if you don't, you're missing out.